What's going on, folks? We had someone in the Discord, and I was talking to another group, so I know that you guys could not hear me. I apologize. All right. I was hoping to have my man Francisco, because the guy's an absolute genius when it comes to this stuff. He'd be here to talk with us, but fortunately he couldn't. So, well, it doesn't seem we can run this at the same way that we run Discord and other apps at the same time. Right now, we are seeing a hot mess. It's Boss Blunts, Marcel Klinovich coming at you from my mobile office, the Roush F-150. I'm gonna shut this shit down so I'm not shaking it around. You guys aren't aware of what's happening right now. The Democrats and the Republicans are fighting over just a couple of votes. They need 10 votes. All right, 10 votes. And the Republicans can't get it done. Ted Cruz has already said that he's not going along with this bullshit. A lot of the Republicans have, you know. McConnell has said he's got his vote in. A couple others are going to vote and agree with it. But at the end of the day, we've got to get 10 Republicans and a couple of progressives to vote along with them. The progressives seem to be on board, but the Republicans are giving them serious issues, you know. It's not looking great. The $1 trillion plan, the $1 trillion plan that they have is setting them up for failure. I was talking to my boy Francisco about this. Why do you think the Republicans are setting up a date? Why do Republicans need a date to vote on this? Doesn't it sound like a bear trap? Or should I say a bull trap? If you ask me, the Republican bull trap here is to say, we'll give you 10 votes. And we'll push this thing on. We can vote on it on Saturday or Friday. What's going to happen when the time comes and they don't all come to an agreement? What do you guys think is going to happen? You know, it doesn't take a rocket science to figure it out. Rocket scientist. Well, let's see what we got in the chat here. You know, yeah, I don't want to see my, Marcy says, I don't want to see my children and grandchildren work for pennies on the dollar, and I don't either. And you know, that I understand what you're saying about an executive order. That would be nice, but we've seen that that's not going to work out. Biden can't do this without them. Reconciliation is going to take way too fucking long. In order to make this work, they need at least 10 Republican votes. Guys, there's no deal yet. There's no deal. What is it you don't understand? All right, there's absolutely no deal. They're in talks. And right now, the Republicans are mad as fuck at McConnell, including Ted Cruz. You know, they could not be more upset. So Chuck Schumer is pushing for this, as is McConnell. But at the end of the day, what are they really doing? What are they fucking doing? These guys got no interest in making a deal. That's Ken Griffin's plane. I'm in Chicago, if you guys didn't notice. All right? I'm in Chicago. I'm sitting outside in my truck in the mobile office. I'm not far from the airport at all. I'm maybe 4 miles from O'Hare right now. So I'd go visit Ken Griffin over at Shitadell, but he's probably not over there. He wants to go hide in New York or Miami. So, yeah, well, that's right, guys. So we've got a situation where some Republicans like McConnell are agreeing that cloture of only 50 votes is acceptable. Then you got other guys like Ted Cruz I think they're significantly holding out on purpose, and it's going to keep happening. They're going to agree to a date to talk about it. McConnell, Dale says McConnell has no spine, but I have to disagree. I think McConnell does. I think he does have a spine. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. He's a really smart, crooked motherfucker. These guys in Congress have been doing this for decades at this point. This is nothing new to him, right? It's nothing new. So when you see them agreeing, do you think McConnell hasn't already worked this out with some other Republicans to say, hey, yeah, let's pretend to throw them a bone. Let's throw these Democrats a bone. Let's pretend like we're going to go along with it. You know, if a couple of you guys say no, the other one, some of us will say yes, and we'll be about 4 or 5 vote shorts. We'll tell them we'll have it locked in. And then here comes the date they're actually going to go to vote, because I don't know if you guys realize this, but they go on vacation next week. Congress is not going to be here next week. They're going to be on vacation. They're going to say, bye-bye. See you, America. Enjoy what we left for you. Enjoy defaulting on the debt. All right? We're in for a rough time. I pray they pass this. Here's what you guys don't understand is I really pray that they all agree on this debt ceiling issue right now. Because it's not that eventually they'll agree to it. It's how long it takes. And what happens to the stock market and people's pensions and 401ks, investments, retirement plans, teachers' unions, everything. What happens to your investments when the debt ceiling is a toy, is a political ploy for them to pull back and forth? Because we're at a point where McConnell's throwing them a bone, and they can't accept it because the ball still falls on McConnell's side. He could tell any Republican in their party to pretend, right? He could tell them to pretend like we're going to go along with it and just keep a key number, 4 or 5 people out of it entirely. So these 5 key players will say no when the vote time and date is set up. They're not going to go for this shit. They're not going to go for this shit. And I hope you guys, this is not about AMC or GameStop. This isn't about stocks. This is about the money and their power transferring hands in between those that are currently in office and in the 1%, specifically the top 0.01%. So they make McConnell is fishing right now. He's making it seem like the Republican Party is doing everything. He's like, look, we tried our best. We put that out there, and the Democrats could not convince 10 of us to vote with them. Mitch wants them to look bad while still agreeing. He told them that we can push this to December. And you want to know what's funny? The $480 billion, he offered to get to that. We can give $480 billion more to the Treasury and push this to December. Guys, the government spends $500 billion a month. The government spends $502 billion a month on average between July and August. And the government only has revenue of $200 billion. So if the government makes $200 billion a month in revenue, but spends $500 billion a month, that leaves a deficit of $300 billion. How far are we going to get on $480 billion? It's going to last us a month and a half. McConnell's going to be putting, if this goes his way, even if this goes the Democrats' way, reconciliation takes a long time. It could take a lot longer than 2 months for them to get to be able to pass this through reconciliation. So even extending through December 3rd with only $480 billion for the Treasury, that's nothing. That's absolutely nothing. Do you understand? That's not enough money, and it's purposely done like that. Gabe asks, what are your thoughts on the U.S. Post Office phasing in a bank system? You know, Gabe, I'm not entirely sure on what's going to happen with the United States Post Office. It's not supposed to be, I mean, it's pretty much a federal entity, even though it is private. It really makes no sense the way that it's being run. S. Wagner says if we default, money will be worthless. And you know, one thing I think you need to realize is currently bonds in countries overseas are negative. Okay, Evergrande bonds are negative. German bonds are negative territory. Japan, it's around 1%. And then you take into inflation, that's negative. Same with Australia. Canada's at 1.5%. America's at 1.5%. You got to take into account that these are 10-year bonds. Would you invest your money for 10 years for 1.5% interest? No, because it doesn't even account for inflation. Inflation's at 5.4% right now, allegedly. Even though we all know it's much higher than that, because you've seen the prices in your grocery store have been doubling. All the prices in your grocery stores have been doubled on everything that you buy, right? All of Daniel Martinez asks, how will this affect like squeeze plays? You guys heard that Janet Yellen said that this hedge fund over leveraging will cause financial runs. What the fuck? You gotta be an idiot to not understand what that means. She literally said, there are concerns that hedge funds leverage will cause financial runs. Financial runs, if you Google it right now, it will tell you that it means extremely high, extremely large changes in a stock's price. She told us that multiple times in multiple letters that our economy will be extremely adversely affected, that millions of people and industries will be affected. We already know that we have massive supply chain issues. And for those of you that don't know, I own a logistics company, and we have massive supply chain issues around the world. There are 80 ships, 80 steamships, massive super ships, holding cargo right now off the coast of LA and Long Beach. And then you got to go to the other side of the country and all the way up the coast from Miami up to New York. We've got delays. Even all the way up over here into Chicago with the ships that come into Lake Michigan. There's not enough steamships. There's not enough people to sit in them to actually move the freight. There's not enough chassis, not enough actual chassis for the containers to be lifted to be put onto to get them out of the steamship, out of the actual ports and out of the rail yards. It's not something that we're going to catch up to in 3 months. The issues that we're seeing with trucker strikes, with warehouses that are completely full, with the ports that are going to be probably going on strike soon, including LA and LGB and maybe Seattle. The increased demurrage charges and storage and detention charges that you're seeing. The cost to bring a container from China tripled, 3x'd. And we're not even close to getting caught up. Things are getting worse. They're not getting better. Okay, things are going to be 3 to 4 years minimum before we get caught up on these steamship lines. So where there's less than 30 ships sitting off the coast of LA and Long Beach. If you think that sounds 30 is a lot, that's like an average. It's 20 to 30. And the fact that there are 80, you should be very concerned. You should be really fucking concerned. We could go to the airport right now. I could be there in 5 minutes, and I show you the rows of trucks. You know, they're all waiting to get loaded at the airline. There's 8-hour wait times, 12-hour wait times, and the same goes for demurrage, 4 hours to 12 hours to pull one container. When in the past, a company could go and pull 2 or 3 containers with one driver. Now they're just doing one a day. And it all boils back down to the issue going on here in Congress, because with the steamship line, all right, with the drayage companies the trucking companies, the warehouses, none of this, the air freight, none of this can be, we don't have the capacity to handle it. We don't have the manpower. And there's only more freight coming in a continual basis. With the changes that are going on in our government right now and the debt ceiling concerns, I'll be shocked if the Democrats and Republicans come to an agreement on this shit and don't default on on our debt. I'll be shocked. So I think that's going to happen. It's almost an inevitability. I do believe that McConnell is playing games, is purposely playing games with these guys, Democrats, to waste time, to make it seem like the Republican Party did everything that they could to make this work out and to allow people like you and I to have a fair shot, because the Republicans gave the Democrats an out to at least extend through December. They may have a vote on it later today. It may be on Friday. And if and when, how should I say, if the Republicans do in fact say no and don't vote, 10 Republicans don't vote with the Democrats to make this happen, we are going to have an almost instant collapse of the stock market. Well, I should say a huge correction, a drop. I would say a collapse, but it will be a continued ongoing factor. The collapse won't be immediate if they disagree. And it's very possible that they could come to an agreement, and then in December, we'll be seeing the exact same situation we're seeing now, to further shake up the market, where McConnell will have even more leverage. Because if McConnell does get them pushed to December right now, the Republicans will have old Yeller and the fucking Treasury will still be spending they'll still be spending $500 billion a month. And she'll have to pull extraordinary measures all the way through December 3rd to survive on a $480 billion increase. Okay? That's not good for the country. It's not good for the stock market or our economy. Because the supply chain issues that you're seeing are what's causing hyperinflation when you combine high demand, low supply, and an extreme artificial printing of money like we've been seeing through COVID relief packages, through stimulus packages, to people and businesses and everything in between, independent contractors, Alexis Dominguez says that they can mint the platinum coin. I would like you to know that Biden has already said that he will not. And Biden and the Treasury have already said that they will not agree to printing the platinum coin. And today, as of yesterday, I should say, the government had less than $99 billion left. Less than $99 billion. So you're looking at a huge... That'll be gone in a heartbeat, particularly when you take into consideration the fact that July and August, the Treasury spent $502 billion per month. They only make about $200 billion per month. Good luck. Good luck. Jonathan, no, it was not done yesterday. They are still debating it. They still have to vote on it. Republicans have not agreed to it. Republicans have not agreed to this, even though McConnell has extended the Democrats a deal. And the Democrats want to take it. The Republicans still have the upper hand because they need 10 of them to vote with the Democrats and the progressives. So we're still on the fence. We're not off the hook. The stock market is not off the hook. And the supply chain issues and the stock market issues caused by the Evergrande bonds being negative, Japanese, German, American, and all these other bonds, 3-month bonds especially being nearly negative, and 10-year bonds being between, for example, Japan and -0.1, -0.2, and in America 1.5, Canada 1.5, and that's among the best. Again, why would you invest your money for 10 years for 1.5%? You wouldn't, because you're going to lose a lot more than that due to our 5.4% per month inflation. That's why these banks are using the RRP, the reverse repurchase program. The over-leveraging will likely lead to a collapse in the stock market, or will be affected due to the collapse in the stock market from the debt ceiling issues, the disagreements, the fear, the uncertainty, the government defaults. If McConnell does pull a slick one, and the Republicans don't end up getting them 10 votes. So a lot of GOP are currently pissed off with McConnell and Schumer. And I think the Republicans are out to make them look bad. So I hope I'm wrong, because if I'm right, the stock market will collapse. Millions of people will lose their savings and probably their jobs, as they already are due to COVID layoffs and other issues. We're going to look at the stock markets collapsing, unfortunately, sooner or later, because the bonds are so far negative, because of the supply chain issues, because of the huge demand you see on your grocery store shelves that are empty, and the lack of supply because we can't get the freight to people fast enough. We've got a lot of, drivers and truckers and people and office workers working nationwide, healthcare workers and teachers and all sorts of things. But at the same time, there's millions that have been laid off and have been fired. So the jobs report tomorrow, and the jobs report tomorrow should look good, because there's going to be a lot of open jobs. But a lot of people also didn't want to get the forced vaccination, so we're not going to be able to fill those jobs anyway. You got to be qualified and skilled to have a job in the medical field, and many nurses and doctors did not want to get the shot. And same goes for many other fields. So regardless, we're in for a tough time ahead. If the Democrats and the Republicans do agree on something, and they kick the can down till December 3rd, they'll get $480 billion. It's not going to be enough, because the government spends $502 billion per month. McConnell will still have the upper hand. It would just be delaying a mother of all short squeezes ever so slightly, in my opinion. But a part of me still really strongly feels that this is all a farce on McConnell and the GOP's part to set up a time and a date to vote on this deal with 60 senators to have cloture, to kick the can for two more months till December 3rd. But I just don't see that happening. I really think that they have an ace. McConnell's got an ace up his sleeve, and right there on that date, whether it be today or tomorrow, or should I say tomorrow or Friday, when they do vote on that, it's gonna be a no. They're gonna lose the vote. It's gonna be too many nays, and it will collapse the stock market. And maybe not immediately, but within a day or two or three, there will start to be margin calls. Well, there will be margin calls immediately, but there will be margin defaults, and that might take a few days to start seeing price action. But a lot of heavily shorted stocks and zombie stocks and things like that, AMC and GameStop in particular, in my opinion, are going to go to the absolute fucking moon. And I mean, we're going to be rich as fuck. That's what I think. Like, I'm already rich, but I'm gonna be rich as fuck, rich as balls, and so are you if you got enough money properly invested in things that run inverse to the market. I don't know this to be a fact, but that's just my theory off the due diligence and the studies and the research that I've done. Not to mention, Janet Yellen said that, quote unquote, there are concerns that hedge funds over leveraging will cause financial runs, end quote. So on that note, I think We're going to be fucking rich. Ken Griffin, I want my fucking money. Because, God, you got so many fucking shorts to buy back. So many fucking shorts. I wish you all peace and wealth. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks so much, everybody. I will catch you later on. Good luck. Let's see what the GOP and the Democrats over here, I don't know what the fuck these idiots are going to decide to do. But I have to say, it's going to be a very bittersweet thing. I don't want the economy and the stock market to collapse, but it's still an inevitability because of the issues that we have going on with supply chain and unemployment and COVID. And worldwide, it's not just America. You know, look at your utility prices and the rolling blackouts worldwide. Brazil, India, China, okay, Germany, power plants are down. One way or another, this shit's happening. And I think this might be an insulated way of the GOP making a ton of money off of it. So, good luck. Good luck, everybody. Peace and wealth.